Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes open up Big 12 play with a huge game against Texas Tech. Catch a special Ute edition of College Football Saturday starting at 8 a.m. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen off today. Steps in Sly. Stevenson Sylvester, nice enough to hang out with me today. It's a good week to do it, too, Sly. I have you a couple times this week just because, obviously, our Football Fridays tomorrow. We're going to be breaking some stuff down, but the biggest game up at Rice Eccles in quite some time, and it's a fun one to be able to have it be the first conference game, all those things going down, and so we're looking forward to it. Our show brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Let's jump in here. Let's get with one of our old pals, Matt Baiamonte. That's where we're going to kick things off here with the cut. We'll jump in right here.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Doug Smith brings you this portion of the show, an incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, and now Mitsubishi. The Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. In-studio host for BYU Athletics, Matt Baiamonte, joining us on the program. What's going on, Matt?
Alex, good to hear from you, my friend.
As always, we got to jam a little bit at the during the pregame meal up at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Prior to that Stanford game, and knowing what we know about this team, what do you know about BYU? You're only 2 games in. You don't have a lot of Bear Bachmeie film to look at, and you have a couple of very different games. What are your thoughts about the freshman quarterback so far, and what are the things that he has to get better at?
Well, I think first and foremost, the thing he has to get better at is he's got to be more accurate. I think he's been making good decisions, and I like the way that he reads the defense, but there's been a handful of throws that just haven't been there if you want your receivers to make plays after the catch. And then I think the thing that he has been good at is he's taking care of the football, and I like that it appears that he's getting through his reads quickly. There's not a lot of times where he's got happy feet in the backfield, and it doesn't feel like you know where he's going with the football. He's been decisive. That could very well be somewhat of a byproduct of their first 2 opponents, and the quality of those teams. Which I don't think anyone would argue, guys, that Stanford and Portland State are some of the best college football teams in the country. So that could be a byproduct of that. But I like that it looks like he's getting through his reads quickly. I just think when he makes the right read, which he's done so much through these first 2 games, can he be a little more accurate to allow his receivers to make some plays after the catch?
With a quarterback like Bear, coming from high school and, his skill set and him being able to make plays and just being ultra confident, then making a jump to college, have you seen any I just got so many questions. I'm trying to see which ones you'll ask right now. Do you see him holding on to the ball too long? That could be an issue. A quarterback has to have a clock in their head. Of course, there's technique things, but, this young guy stuff. But him holding on to the ball, could that prove as being an issue as your competition ramps up?
I think it very well could be an issue as the schedule gets harder and he plays better defenses. But through these first 2 games, I don't think that's been an issue. And I think that's something that's been really impressive with Bear is that he does get through his reads quickly. He's making good decisions. He's taking care of the football. And I like that he hasn't run the ball a ton. Now, he's capable of it, and I think that will be something that A-Rod and this offense will utilize more when necessary. But the fact that he has not run the football very much, to me, is an indicator that he is reading defense as well at this stage, that he is getting through progressions and making decisions. So that's been, to me, honestly, the most impressive part about his play so far is that he is making good decisions. No interceptions yet. Completion percentage mid to low 60s, 63%. That's fine. It's not great. It's not bad. It's better than what Jake Retzloff had last year by a few percentage points. So, but again, the Portland State, the Stanford, how much do we really know there in terms of the decision making and all of that stuff? I think after this weekend, we'll have a much better idea if those first two games are an indication that he is further ahead than most true freshmen are, or if it was just a byproduct of playing two subpar opponents in Portland State and Stanford.
What are they getting with East Carolina this week? I think you could convince yourself that a team is bad or convince yourself that a team is really, really good when you don't know that much about them. But I think that everybody knows that Katin Hauser is a very good quarterback who, had all sorts of stars next to him coming out of high school and ends up at ECU, and it seems like he's finding sort of a stride here. What's the reality of what this ECU team brings on the offensive and defensive side of the ball?
East Carolina is a good football team, and you would look at the Pirates and say they're not a Power 5 team, so what's the big deal? But you mentioned Hauser. He's close to 1,000 yards passing already. He's completing over 70% of his passes, 5 TDs, 1 interception. They are a really good passing team, but they're not solely reliant on the pass. I think they can run the ball as well. I think they're a little bit better in the throw game than the run game. And then defensively, I think East Carolina is really good. You heard A-Rod earlier in the week say this might be the best defensive team they play all year. Their scoring defense is single digits, like BYU. They're only averaging or allowing 9 points per game. So this is going to be a real challenge. And I think what I really like about this game is it is going to answer some of those questions that we have about BYU, primarily offensively with Bear. Can they take care of the football? Can they throw the ball? And most importantly, can they run the ball? Because they've been so good on the ground. Is that something that you can sustain against a really good defense? And then the other thing that will be really fun to watch, and it will be a clarifying game from this perspective, BYU's defense is unreal right now. Scoring defense, 1.5 points per game. That's best in the country. Like, they've been dynamic. They've been lights out, but they haven't faced an offense like this. And I think that if there is a weakness in this defense, and weakness might be the wrong word, but if there's something that a team could take advantage of, I still have a few question marks about BYU's pass defense. You lose Jacob Robinson, well wishes to him that he can get back from the arm injury and still make an NFL roster next year. That was unfortunate in preseason with the 49ers. But Evan Johnson, Maury Bamba, Trey Alexander, they haven't really been tested in the pass game. And they're going to be tested in this pass game. And if they pass this test, then I think we can all say definitively this is one of the best defenses in all of college football, not just the Big 12, but all of college football. But we got to see it against East Carolina. So all these things we're discussing, we're going to have just a really clear picture on where they're at offensively and how good this defensive team is after this East Carolina game.
Man, we all know that coming off of a bye week, there's some rust. Some people take advantage of and come exploding off of a bye week. Some people get rust. I know there was a lot of learning curves, and even with the injury to JoJo Phillips, there were some things that BYU wanted to work on. What are you hearing that Kalani did during this bye week to make sure that they can start out aggressively against East Carolina?
Well, they had the weekend off, so they worked really hard last week into the weekend. Then they took the weekend off to rest up, and then it's back to regular practice schedule this week. I think the biggest thing and the most important thing that this team needed during the bye week is not necessarily health. They do have a couple nicks and bruises that you can heal up. JoJo, it's going to be more than just a couple days and weeks to get JoJo back. But that allows Cody Hagan, who's going to step into that starting role, more reps and opportunities with Bear. And I think the reason this bye week came at such a great time for this team is because Bear needs every rep he can get. And these are just such valuable practice reps to get him more acclimated with Chase, with Cody, with LJ, with with the whole group, Carson Ryan included in that mix. So I think this bye week was really beneficial from that perspective. Not necessarily so much getting healthy. I think they've been relatively healthy up to this point. But the rust part will be really interesting. I think BYU's offense in both of these games, it's been a little slow out of the gates, and that's got to be a little concern at East Carolina. You want to get off to a good start. Last time they went down there in 2017, nothing went right. And having a slow start opens up the door to have your game plan go out the window because you're down 10-0 or 14-0 out of the gates. I don't think that's going to happen for the record, but that's would be the concern offensively out of the bye week is what can you do to avoid the slow start that you had against Portland State. Remember, their first score of that game was a special team score. And then in the Stanford game, it took a minute to get things going as well. So how this team starts offensively out of the bye week is a real question mark.
Matt Baiamonte, studio host for BYU Athletics, and, of course, following this game, East Carolina, BYU. That's a Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, and they go in there. This is a place that the last time they were there, they lost. And it's not an easy place to play in the first place. Do we make too much out of the getting out of town and going 2 time zones type of a deal? I know they leave a day early, but what's the part of this that people don't necessarily know about? Because I feel like people make a lot about the trip out there, but these kids are used to it, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's overblown. This is a pretty experienced team, too, outside of quarterback. We look at every other position. Your offensive line, there's a lot of experience, not only at BYU, but at previous stops. Defensively, just loads of experience. I don't think that's a concern or an issue at all. To me, it is simply, if there is a concern, it would be how does Bear Bachmeie handle his first true road start? BYU's home advantage right now, guys, is unparalleled. I wonder if you felt the same way as me, Alex, at that Stanford game. But, I've been going to games at LaVell Stadium for a long, long time. And this particular year is the first year that I felt like BYU, their game day atmosphere, and the fan buy-in, that's probably the most underrated part. I got to the Stanford game well before kickoff, and Cougar Canyon was rocking. And that's just not something I'm used to. That's something you expect at a Texas football game or down in the SEC. But BYU has done such a good job of enhancing the in-game feel, the buy-in from the fans, and just really leveling up, which is great. And I think it gives them a big home advantage. We haven't seen Bear on the road yet, though. Yeah. So that's the only thing where you really don't know until you see it. Is how does your true freshman quarterback handle a road environment? And East Carolina is not like a crazy road environment. It's never going to be in the top 25 on EA College Football 27 from a road perspective, but it is still a challenge. You have to work through if it is too loud, how do you handle the non-silent count and making sure everyone's on the same page? So that's really the only challenge to this road game is how does Bear handle that first road start?
You brought up the JoJo Phillips injury, and obviously that's one that people are looking at and going, all right, what happens here the rest of the way? But I know Justin Kirkland's been brought up. I know he was playing. I know he had some appearances at practice at least this week per, Coach Hill talking about it at his press day. But what's the reality on how close he is, or do we not know?
I don't think we know, and I don't think there's a rush because JT, John Tamalpeo, has been one of the revelations of the season for BYU. You add Tanuvasa, and you know what you're getting from him, and then the expectation was Justin Kirkland was going to come in from Oklahoma State and be that next starting defensive tackle, and then rotating in would be JT. But JT has played such good football to where you now have the luxury of waiting with Justin Kirkland. Don't need to rush him back. You're allowing 1.5 points per game, and your rush defense, you're allowing 7 yards per game. The guys playing right now are more than getting the job done. And JT's been a big part of that rush defense, along with Keanu Tanuvasa. So I would be stunned if we saw Justin Kirkland. Never say never. I would love it if he could make it back, but if you're not 100%, why bring him back? Because JT, Kanavasa, and I think the ends too, they don't get enough credit for the way that the defense is playing. Tyler Batty goes pro, and you lose Blake Mangelson. There was a lot of departures on the defensive line, guys, and that was a big question mark. And you look now, and Logan Latui, getting him back was huge. Bodie Schoonover, I think, has done a really outstanding job. He's been in the program for a while. He's now getting his chance, and I think he's playing well. So with Justin Kirkland, I think no need to rush him. And then with the wide receiver group, you've got such great depth there. And there's dudes that haven't really made an impact yet that I think will be ready when their name is called. Tay Nakua is a guy who showed well in spring football and fall camp. He might get more snaps now that Cody Hagen's being elevated. And then Reggie Frischknecht is a dude that, you know, for him to come in immediately and be working with the 2s and 3s, I think also speaks to his talent. You know, if Chase Roberts wasn't there and JoJo Phillips wasn't there, is Reggie getting more time? So they've got plenty of depth that I think Cody, Tay Nakua, Frischknecht, and Tiger Bachmeie as well, who we haven't seen a ton of in the wide receiver role. He's a guy that has proven it at the power level that he can come in and compete. So at both of those positions, there's no need to rush anyone back early.
Matt Baiamonte, in-studio host, BYU Athletics. We appreciate you being on the program as always, Matt, and we'll be watching this one this weekend. We'd love to dip in with you again later on in the season, of course, as we get to know the team a little bit better. Thanks, man.
Yeah, anytime for you guys. Appreciate it, Alex.
There you go. Matt Baiamonte, everybody. All right, we'll come back. We got more to go around the corner. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies look for a win this Saturday as they take on McNeese State. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on a Thursday. You know what that means when it's Thursday? It's our Hercules Here of the Week that we're going to roll out for this week. Stevenson, Sylvester, Sly, nice enough to hang out today as JJ's out, but still, regardless, we still roll out the winners. You can nominate the Youth Sports Volunteer for the Hercules Here of the Week program, and that happened. Nomination coming in from Michael Dahl for the winner of this week's Hercules Here of the Week program. It is Zach Wilson. Not that Zach Wilson.
Oh, dang, I thought it was.
No. Give that guy. Come on. Although I bet he'd be a pretty good. I bet he'd be a pretty good.
He's
youth
at
coach.
the Ice Lounge.
I think he has. I think he has a
now.
lot of stuff going on in his life. But this Zach Wilson, as nominated by Michael Dahl, says Zach has been an incredible example to the youth in his area. He's been a coach of my son's football, basketball, and baseball teams over the past 4 years. Shows the desire to have the youth at those levels succeed. This has led to me seeing significant improvement in both the ability of my son in these sports as well as his confidence. My son has learned to love sports and looks both forward to practices and games when they come around. Zach is a great balance for pushing those coaches and expectations that he anticipates in return. Props to Zach for being a great coach and an example to those that he coaches. Your winner of this week, Hercules Here of the Week program, is Zach Wilson. Gets himself a $200 voucher to Beehive Meals and also a gift card from the folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union. They are the great sponsors of this program, Hercules First and Beehive Meals. It's your Hercules Hero of the Week. So there you go. Mitch Harper and I put together our weekly. We have to. So here's how this works. When Mitch and I put these together for First and 12, which is our program that plays on KSL News Radio, and you can download the podcast, we focus all on Big 12 anything, and we have our weekly. We have to get together and actually have to come together on each one of these. We have to be unanimous on how this poll looks. So sometimes I'll have to argue one way or the other for a team that I want to move up or down. Now, it's hard to do at the front end of the season, Sly, but we still went at it, okay? For the second week in a row, number one on the list is University of Utah. Number 2 on the list is Texas Tech. So number 1 versus number 2 this week of our Big 12 power rankings is pretty darn good. Neither of us have a hard time putting Utah at the top of this one because I think that, and I said this last week, I think Texas Tech has no idea what they're walking into.
Absolutely not.
They say that they do. We've played in big places before. Oh, we've played in loud environments before. We play the music loud at the practice facility during the week. I just don't think that they really understand how different it is to play at Rice-Eccles Stadium, especially a team that is not used to – they haven't just not played here before. These teams don't face off against one another.
Since the 70s.
And I just don't think Utah – I just don't think Utah has any kind of thought for Texas Tech as a power coming in or that they would be nervous or scared at any rate. And Texas Tech, I think, really does downplay the idea of coming into Utah because, well, we've played at Texas before. We played at Oklahoma. We're talking something totally different this weekend up at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Yeah. For me, I would take that audio clip of Bear Morton talking about it's a big game because we're
in it.
That would be going in cycles in the locker room. And
they do that kind of stuff to pump guys up?
Gosh, Coach Whittingham loves that stuff. Yes, we do it. We put, in fact, there's more paper stuff all over the walls throughout the locker room.
Really?
Making sure they
so
put
that's
it in
legit.
your locker. Oh, yeah.
When they talk about bulletin board material, when they talk about
that's exactly what they're talking about. That's exactly what they're talking about. And the last thing you want to do is give Coach Whittingham any type of ammo because he's going to treat you like Joe Glenn in 2007 and make onside kick when he's up by 40. So, but I'm excited. They have absolutely no idea. This is why I was telling you when I was watching, all these podcasts and these people. I was like, you guys really have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. You don't even know why Utah was bad last year. They have no idea what we were missing last year.
I think, you know what? That's a great point because they look and they just go,
look at the record.
It's a team that wasn't very good.
Yeah. You have no idea why. You have no idea as to what you're walking into. So, again, Utah fans, man, get those breakfast burritos with some Cholula hot sauce. And get ready to go and have the stadium rocking because I'm gonna be freaking lit, and I hope everybody else is.
Wow, settle down with the lit part. Jeez,
great. Oh, come on, big noon kickoff, baby. Me and Urban Meyer is gonna be walking in the stadium.
I love
it. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. I cannot wait for Saturday and see how Utah shows up and make sure everybody knows exactly who Utah is.
So our power rankings go: Utah 1, Texas Tech 2. Iowa State 3, and I like Iowa State. They've been playing well. They went to Arkansas State. It was kind of a weird road game, and they only won by 8 points. But at the same time, they had to go play at a weird place. Arkansas State, fine. I haven't been super impressed by Iowa State's offense. I do like Rocco Becht a lot. They've got a great running game. We just haven't seen it yet, really, being able to hit on all cylinders. TCU 4. We've got BYU 5 until proven otherwise. They went up from 6 to 5 because I think we had. Oh, and then Arizona State got the big win over Texas State over the weekend. I thought maybe that was going to be a trap game for them.
Is that a big win?
I say it was a big win because they had that loss against Mississippi State, and they needed a bounce back in a big way. And Texas State is not a bad team. They're a team that people overlook because they're like kind of semi-recent into the FBS level, but they put up a lot of points. They gave them a hard time last year when Arizona State went down to San Marcos. I think it was like a 2 or stop it with the Pac-12 stuff. I can't get used to that yet. Yeah, they are going to be a Pac-12 team, by the way. So they've got the word state in their team, in their university, so they're obviously going to be right there. Baylor 7, Houston 8. This is the highest I've had Houston in our power poll the last 3 seasons. Houston's been terrible. They are 3-0 right now. Now, yeah, they haven't opened up, or they got their first one in Big 12 play, although it wasn't technically a Big 12.
All these guys have buys this week. What the freak?
I know, but you know what? Houston, I know everybody's got an early buy. BYU had one last week. Some of these teams have one this week.
Well, everybody's got Houston.
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, Cincinnati. Lots of buys this week because you have to sneak in 2 now. So that's what you get. You get an earlier buy and then you get a later buy. Let me see here. Baylor 7, like I said, Houston 8, Arizona 9. I want to see if that win over Kansas State ended up being something that like actually will turn into a reality if they're good or not. Kansas 10, Cincinnati 11, West Virginia 12. Then we get to the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. UCF I still don't believe in him at all. I don't think Scott Frost has his guys dialed in. Colorado's been absolutely disappointing so far at 1-2 with their start. Kansas State is 1-3, probably the biggest shock of this year's fall off of teams that have had a fall off. This is Kansas State after that week 1 loss to Iowa State in Ireland. They just have not been able to figure this thing out. They barely beat an FCS team, and that's their one win of the season. Then they got beat last week down in Tucson against Arizona. Oklahoma State is your bottom. I only put them at 16 because I can't put them at 17. All right? So that's where they're at. That's how much respect I have for Mike Gundy and his guys right now. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have our top 10 next. You don't want to miss any of it. Stay here. Stay dialed in. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars head east for a huge non-conference showdown against East Carolina. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, man, that is some, you know what? That's some darn good music right here.
I'm telling you, man. All I think about is Adam Sandler movies. All of it. You get at least 5 Yacht movies.
This just so happens. This just so happens to be very appropriate considering. I mean, I like this song. Now, this is an '80s tune, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But you're maybe one of the best pop 1990s guy that we know.
Oh, I'll take that honor.
No, I mean,
the best
honestly,
time, best movies,
now this
best
is gonna
music,
be
90s.
This is gonna be a tough top 10. So I'm gonna make the calling in guys. I'm gonna make Kent and Colson get involved on this.
Because Nap's been struggling helping me out lately. Dang it.
Napolis put his headset on like he's gonna participate, but I don't have high hopes for you. I don't have high hopes for you. So I've got in front of me. Well, mostly because. Now, technically, our producer, Alex Napolis, was born in the 90s, but I mean just barely. So I don't know if he can help with this. I have Billboard's top hits, 1990 through 1999, on the board here.
Ooh.
You will get absolute kudos if you can get 3 of them.
Top hits, just hits in general.
The best hits of the 19. No, I'm not. I'm saying the number one song from each year. I'm not saying give me, but what you're gonna have to do is just recall, not even necessarily the years individually.
I'm just gonna shout stuff.
Just
out.
start shouting some songs because even if you don't know the year,
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
that's.
But like
That's not the number one
Chumbawamba's
song
got to
ever.
be like 5 of them.
Hold
right?
on, we gotta get the Chumbawamba. We gotta get the timer going here. I'll get you an official 60 seconds.
Oh,
Again, like I
It's gotta be
said,
something from the Backstreet Boys.
if you guys get it's all, so you've got 10 different songs, obviously, one from each year. So I'm gonna throw it out here. On your mark, get set, go.
what Celine Dion song do we know?
My heart will go on.
Heart will go on.
No.
Great guess though. Great guess.
What's that all-star song? The punk
Smash Mouth.
Smash
Smash Mouth. Nope. We're talking number
you're talking
one
about that was on
songs.
Shrek too. That was money.
We're talking number one songs.
Jeez, I'm brain dead. What was on Lion King?
What was it like?
I was born to be king.
Red Hot Chili. Can
Are
we
you
just
thinking
name
like
bands?
are you thinking
how
like
about-
maybe Circle
how
of
about
Life?
Circle
Circle
of
of Life from Elton John.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good guess. That's a really
California, Tupac.
good- Hold on, let me look. No, that's a great guess though. Probably not mainstream enough. You guys are waiting. You're not thinking cheesy enough. You're not thinking
It's gotta be
romantic
that cheesy?
or cheesy enough.
Like Britney Spears.
Oh, she's more of a 2000s gal.
Yeah. Freak. Alanis Morissette.
Hold on, let me look.
Ooh.
Alanis Morissette's a pretty good pull, but no.
Green Day?
This is horrible.
You
Has
guys
it
are
been
gonna.
60 seconds already?
It's been 60 seconds already.
I couldn't get nothing anyway.
Napolis took his headset off, like acting like he wasn't even
These
related to
guys
anybody.
suck.
Okay. 1990. Like I said, you guys haven't gone cheesy enough and mainstream enough.
I was on Full House.
Wilson Phillips, Hold On.
Oh, no,
1990.
that's like my wife's favorite
Oh,
song.
there we go. Bryan Adams, Everything I Do It For You, 1991.
Oh, wow.
That's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, in case you were wondering.
Gotcha.
Baby Got Back, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Very disappointed in all of you, by the way.
Baby Got Back.
1992, very disappointed in all of you. UB40's Can't Help Falling in Love. It's a remix of the King, Elvis Presley's. I Swear by All for One. I can't believe a number one hit in 1994. I'm disappointed in all of you.
I didn't think that would be a number one.
Guys, I know. Now this one, I'm also disappointed. Think Left Eye, May She Rest. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Waterfalls in
TLC.
95, 96? Okay.
This one also, like I said, mainstream and
Scrubs?
worldwide. The Bayside Boys mix, Los Del Rio, La Macarena. Come on.
That was in the 90s?
I'll Be Missing You by Puff Daddy and Faith Evans, featuring 112.
That was 98.
That was 97.
Oh.
98 is Brandy and Monica. You couldn't get more cheesy in 1998 than this. The Boy Is Mine.
The Boy Is Mine. That was a great song.
And then Cher's Believe in 1990. Do you believe in love?
Oh, I said Celine Dion, not Cher. Dang it. Hey, well.
All right, notable
got
hit,
me.
other notable top hits of the 90s. Smells Like Teen Spirit, No Scrubs by TLC. TLC's on the list twice. Goo Goo Dolls, Iris, and then Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio. Again.
Gangsta's Paradise. Wow.
That's our first 0 out of 10. Annapolis. But I will say that's probably the hardest one we've ever done.
Well, I just didn't even know where to start.
I know. It's a lot of songs. All right. We'll come back. We got more to go around the corner. Let's dive more into both Utah and BYU and their opponents for this weekend, getting you ready for a full weekend of college football. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.